Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 15 of albums that are 20 years old in 2025. That's right. We're making the switch over to 2005. Went from 95 to 2005. We do these 10-year increments, but we're splitting the month here. Doing the first half of the month, my top 15 releases from 2005. I keep on to 2023. 2005, celebrating 20-year birthdays and anniversaries. And then on day number 16, we're going to switch over to albums that are 10 years old in 2025 and go back to 2015, right? Tell you what, I've noticed a lot of really great albums released in both these years. It was really hard for me to whittle down my list to 15 of each. And like I mentioned before, I went back and looked at what I ranked my top albums of the year for each year on the webzine, and man, my list turned out to be quite different today than they were 20 years ago and 10 years ago. Right? It's what happens, right? So today, for pick number 15, we got a good one here. This is the eighth studio album from this American band. It was released on September 13th, 2005, recorded in Austin, Texas, produced by Tom Dowd for Vanguard Records. I'm talking about Bastardos by Blues Traveler. Yes, indeed, the great jam band, bluesy rock pop band, whatever you want to call them, right? This is a killer album featuring the amazing talents of John Popper on harmonica and vocals. You got the great Chan Kinchla. I guess that's how he says his name. Never quite knew how to. Chan Kinkla on electric and acoustic guitars and mandolin. Brendan Hill on percussion and drums. Tad Kinkla or Kinchla on bass, and Ben Wilson on keyboards, along with a little bit of extra help in the studio on guitars and percussion and things from Jay Bennett. You got Carlos Sosa on saxophone, Fernando Castillo on trumpet, Raul Vallejo on trombone, and backing vocals from Teresa Cole. So, what do we got on this album? We got some rip-roaring, intense, bluesy jam bandy stuff here, right? You got the crushing opener, You Can't Stop Thinking About Me, with that absolutely roaring harmonica all the way through. So good. He's one of the great harmonica players of all time, and can't get enough harmonica, right? Amber Awaits is next, killer track, but some of my favorites on this, me, I love the guitars, right? So I love these big huge riffs and blazing solos on songs like After What, Money Back Guarantee, and The Great Rubberneck. So good. They even do a version of Miles Davis's Nefertiti on here as an instrumental, which is pretty damn cool, right? To hear a band like this do a classic jazz track like that. So good. A lot of songs on here. They also do a cover of Whitesnake's Children of the Night, which is the final song on here. It's really good. Maybe not quite as heavy, obviously, as the Whitesnake version, because this is Blues Traveler, right? But so good. A couple ballads on here as well. He's got great voice, but half the song, it's like he's singing and he's doing the harmonica. The harmonica is also, it's almost like having a backing singer, right? That just great stuff, great stuff. So let's take a look at charts and things like that. So, these guys were kind of always a US phenomenon. So surprisingly enough, in 2005, right, at a time where, not a lot of copies of physical stuff is being sold, we're starting to see it dwindle. This made it to number 8 on the Billboard Top 100 Albums chart, or Top 200, I guess it is. And this sold 6 million copies. That's right, 6 million copies of Bastardos, right? Showing that Blues Traveler had lots of staying power, and they weren't going anywhere. So yeah, 8 albums in, another bang up, huge album for the band. It's one of their biggest sellers of all time, and great production by a legend on here as well. So yeah, that is my pick for today. First day of April. Yeah, this is my pick for today. Come on, guys. There ain't no way in hell I am picking a Blues Traveler album. So let's go back to reality here, right? Hopefully I had some of you. I think most of you know it was April 1st. Got to do something, right? Pete's got something up his sleeve, so I figured I'd try and go the serious route here. So anyway, let's get back to business. Pick number 15. Let's get back to business. So this particular pick for today is the 11th studio album by this German band. It was released on January 10th, 2005, right at the beginning of the decade. It was produced by Andy Sneap for SPV/Steamhammer Records. I'm talking about Kreator, Enemy of God. Yeah, that's kind of more my speed, right? Blues Traveler just doesn't really do it. It's just way too much harmonica for me. And musically they're pretty good, I guess, but it's just people keep asking me all the time, Pete, what do you have against harmonica? I don't know what it is. It's just like anybody else, right? I know some people who can't stand the sound of saxophone or trumpet. There's some people who don't like piano, right? It's just sometimes you got an instrument that just kind of like rubs you the wrong way. I don't mind it in small little bursts, right? Like people say, well, you love Black Sabbath. How about on the Wizard? I don't mind it on there because it's like and that's it, right? Pops up like twice in the song. That's it. The problem with this stuff like Blues Traveler is like, it's just constant. Every song, tons of harmonica. It's just like it just wears me out. It just wears me out. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't jive with me for whatever reason. Anyway, back to Kreator. So this is one of their great latter period albums, in my opinion. Mili Petrosa on vocals, lead and rhythm guitar. You got Sammy Yi Cernio, however he says his name, on lead guitar, Christian Geisler on bass, and Ventor, the great Ventor, on drums, with a little guest appearance on one guitar solo on one track by the great Michael Amott from, of course, Arch Enemy and Spiritual Beggars. So, what do we have on this album? A lot of really, really great tracks. This is a very strong album. And of course, they kick it off with the crushing title track. Enemy of God is so good. They still play that live quite a bit to this day. It's become one of their signature tracks. So good. You got Impossible Brutality, and so of course, Kreator, a thrash band, right? One of the classic German thrash bands alongside Destruction and Sodom and Tankard, right? Those are normally looked at as the big four of thrash out of Germany. And the German thrash scene was kind of hitting right at the same time, that like kind of like the California, the Bay Area scene and the New York metropolitan area scene was happening back in the 80s, right? So you had like California, New York, and Germany, all just amazing thrash bands coming left and right here. Suicide Terrorist, World Anarchy is an absolute crusher. You got Dystopia, Voices of the Dead, Murder Fantasies, When Death Takes Its Dominion. Killer track. I mean, there's nothing bad on here. Under Black and Total Black and Sky is great, and then the final track, The Ancient Plague, is just absolutely killer. Loads of just manic riffs, blazing lead solos, and Millie's just unmistakable vocals. Right, he's got kind of like early on he had almost like a black metal type of a rasp type of thing going here. He's obviously much different now. Kreator is a much more kind of accessible type metal band than they were probably in the early days, although a lot of people love the early stuff more than anything they've done in recent years, right? And I would agree some of those early albums are groundbreaking and so raw and intense and brutal. This stuff is not quite on that level, but still, it's more modern thrash and it's still heavy as hell and brutal in spots, right? But the vocals aren't quite as extreme, obviously, and songs are a lot less raw, actually, better production values and things like that. This has the total Andy Sneap like sound to it, so you can expect loads of just crushing riffs, razor sharp riffs and licks and solos and things like that. It's got that big wall of sound, that distorted wall of sound. But yeah, there's nothing bad on here. It's 55 minutes of great neck snapping thrash from Kreator. That is my pick for today. Obviously, I'm not going to try and April Fools you with like a million copies sold and all that good stuff, but we do have some charts to talk about here. In Austria, this made it to number 45. Belgium, number 90 on the Flanders charts. France, number 84. Germany, in their home country, made it to number 19. Swedish charts, number 38. And the UK rock and metal albums charts made it to number 32. I'm surprised this didn't do anything at all in the US because, Kreator's a fairly decent sized draw for a metal band like this on the concert scene here. They're one of the few like kind of like you know European bands that can kind of come over here fairly regularly and tour and either headline or open up and draw like a good crowd. So yeah. So that is my pick for today. I'm wearing my Bang shirt too. I haven't worn this in quite a while. Bought this when I saw them live. Love Bang. So good. Saw them open up for Pentagram like God, 10, 12 years ago, at least something like that. It's at least a decade ago, probably a little bit longer than that. But 20, I think the shirt says 2014. So yeah, 11 years ago. So yeah. Anyway, that's my pick for today. Pick number 15. We're going to count down to number one. Then at the midway points of the month, we're going to switch over to 2015, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to count down from 15 to number one. So on day number 15 here in April, I will give you my pick number one. On the 16th, we start back at 15, go ahead 10 years. So we're splitting the month. And like I said, a lot of good stuff. I had a really hard time putting this list together because, like I said, I had stuff in my like honorable mentions back 20 years ago on the webzine that I'm like, God, that's like a top 10 for me now. Right. A lot can happen in 20 years, right? Some albums kind of move out of favor a little bit, and others that you kind of were like, that's pretty good. All of a sudden, you're like, whoa, love this, right? That happened for me for both years, both for 2005 and 2015. But for today, it's all about Enemy of God by Kreator. That's my pick. Tune in tomorrow for pick number 14. List all your stuff down below. And we'll see you tomorrow, right? Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. That's right. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also, down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options all down below. Thanks in advance for all your support there. It's greatly appreciated. We'll see you soon here with more stuff. Yeah, as you can see, we didn't get to the Sabbath Stones last night. Chris had something kind of come up, and so we've got to put that off. Probably going to be doing that tomorrow, Wednesday. So look for that on April 2nd, hopefully tomorrow evening. So we're going to try and we'll get it in this week at one point. So, but yeah, it's all going to be about Master of Reality, the great Master of Reality, Sabbath's third studio album. How great is it? Why we think it's so cool, why it's so influential. And yeah, we're just talking a Sabbath album like we've done numerous times on the Sabbath Stones. We've also, because I noticed that it's going to be 50 years in a couple months for another great Sabbath album called Sabotage. So you can be rest assured in a couple months, we'll probably be doing a show all on Sabotage, celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. So yeah, that's a wrap for today. We'll see you tomorrow morning with pick number 14. Till then, I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Looking forward to your comments down below, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.